Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Game one of the 2025 Portsmouth Invitational Tournament in the books here live on WGNT. Joining me now is Matt Hatfield. Matt, you called the game. Thanks a lot for being with us. And what a way to start here. We thought that might be a blowout there at first, but then clawing back and making a game of it at the end.
Heck of a ball game, Mark. K&D Rounds ends up winning at 74-73. And you saw just that comeback ability from John L. Davis and Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson played at UC Davis. Davis, who played at Arkansas, also took FAU to the Final Four. We see it all the time in men's college basketball, in the NBA. Leads are never safe in this sport. 23-point advantage, and all of a sudden Davis is coming roaring back with his team. But you could just see the cool, calm poise under pressure from Sean Padula. It's a homecoming of sorts. Back in his home state, once played at Virginia Tech, goes to Ole Miss in the SEC. He really stepped up with two big free throws because you don't want to be the guy that misses those free throws in crunch time. He came through down the stretch. Yeah,
the game winner. Let's talk about Padula for a minute because we got a chance to talk to him early on, and he was really looking forward to this opportunity playing in front of these scouts. You mentioned the former Hokie, and he started off red hot, and like you said, knocked down those two crucial, which ended up being game-winning free throws.
And you know, something that James and David and I talked about on the broadcast was they'll see the shots, they'll see those free throws down the stretch, but he really set the tone with his defense, the energy he came out of the locker room with to begin this. Scouts are looking for how hard you play. They're looking at body language. Those little things matter as you go on to the professional journey. And I think that's going to be something that we watch as this tournament unfolds to see who are some of the guys we uncover. I'm looking forward to the next game. There's a guy coming up that's a name to watch out for from Boise State, Tyson Degenhardt for Norfolk Sports Club. He's a bucket getter and a playmaker. A lot of people on the East Coast aren't familiar with the guy from Boise State. We think of Boise State, we think of the Smurf turf and football.
Exactly.
He can play some hoops, Mark.
They got some hoops out there too in the Mountain West. Don't be fooled. Well, Matt, we were talking to Michael Morris, and he was talking about how, hey, these guys have to gel pretty quickly with a whole new group of guys. Do you think with the team that came back and won Solar Systems, do you think that they came back and was that the case off the top there?
I think that's a great point because you'll see in basketball there's that let up, and that happened a little bit for K&D Rounds, but Sales Systems had something to play for. They didn't want to come out here. I'm sure their coaches, you got Damon Jones, who once was a teammate of LeBron James, saying, you know what, this is not how you go out here. Don't leave a stinker out there. Go out there and lay it all on the line. So now, game 2 coming up, consolation on Thursday, game 3 for them on Saturday. They can impress other scouts because they see there was no quit in Davis. There was no quit in some other guys on the floor. And I think that can bleed itself to, whether you get a contract in the NBA or overseas, something you can build off of.
If you guys follow sports here in the 757, you know Matt Hatfield. Matt, it's like you're everywhere. How much do you enjoy? There's two prongs to this, in my opinion, as a sports guy here. One, you see familiar faces, but two, you see the guys we see on TV that we don't get to see in person. That's pretty cool to me.
Well, we were just joking, Mark. You being from Richmond and coming down here to Tidewater, I'm covering the whole state. We both have been in this gym, and we can't go from one end to one without seeing someone we know or somebody grabbing us. But that's how it works. It's like a reunion of sorts for people, and then you see people you've never seen before. That's what makes this PIT such a unique experience, and it's great with what you folks at WGNT are doing with this event.
Well, and hey, Matt, give us an idea of what to expect here in game number 2. You mentioned one player already. We have Ace Baldwin out there, too, former VCU guy. We're going to see a couple guys, another former Tech player. We're going to see some familiar faces in game number 2.
You're going to see some familiar faces. You're going to see some defensive playmakers like a Baldwin who once played at VCU, Big Ten defensive player here at Penn State. And then for Portsmouth Partnership, you're going to see some big men. You like dunks, you like jams. Watch out for Umar Ballo, who once played at Arizona, finished up at Indiana in the Big Ten. He might throw down 2 or 3 dunks. Keep an eye for him.
Game number 2 coming up. Norfolk Sports Club and Portsmouth Partnership is coming right on the other side of this break. You're watching the 2025 PIT live on WGNT.
He's a good guy, yeah.
How we doing?
Hey!
Matt Jones.
Matt Jones, that's me. We were last year, I think, right? Daniel, nice to meet you, yeah.
Hey, y'all are live. All right.
And we welcome you to Game 2, getting ready to start here in our 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School. It's going to be a matchup featuring Norfolk Sports Club against Portsmouth Partnership. Matt Hatfield here with you alongside Matt Jones and Daniel Sokolowski as we'll be bringing the call for this action here coming up, guys, as we'll get ready to unveil the starting lineups and what's going to happen with these two teams. Norfolk Sports Club wearing the white uniforms. If you're just tuning in here on WGNT, we thank you for watching our week-long, our marathon-long coverage of this event. Norfolk Sports Club in the white uniforms with the red numerals, coached by Webb Hatch, Jim Corrigan, and Mikkel Gladness. And in the orange uniforms, Portsmouth Partnership, coached by Evan Key, Eric Johnson, and Dominique Johnson. Forward to most, and this came after a one-point finish that went down to the wire in our opener here to kick things off here in Portsmouth.
I'm looking forward to checking out this Portsmouth Partnership team. A couple of interesting names, bigger names in college basketball, but one I'm interested in particular is number 20, David Gasson from Kansas State. Really enjoyed watching him play this year just because he plays so hard. Really good motor, a guy I think can make a great impression here this week.
How about for you, Daniel?
Yeah, I think this is going to end up being a really interesting matchup between the two bigs. I think the battle of the bigs here, Victor Luckett from Clemson, Russian big man who was imposing under the basket versus the bigger names, Omar Barrow, Greater Sabor. These were some of the premier players in the transfer market this time last year. They both made a significant impact, which is why they're here now. So the battle under the basket will be the one I'm keyed in on.
If you're just joining us, our last game saw K&D Rounds Landscaping prevail over Sales Systems 74-73. Sean Padula and Nate Santos combining for 30 points. Two key free throws at the end for Padula. Janelle Davis had 22 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a losing effort for Sales Systems. We're coming back from a 23-point deficit in our first game. And our starting lineup's about to be revealed here for our second game. Reminder, we'll have coverage for you on WGNT all week long, including 3 games on Thursday starting at 3:15 Eastern. It'll be the loser of this game taking on Sales Systems. Roger Brown's Restaurant versus Portsmouth Sports Club. coming up at 7 o'clock on Thursday night, and Mike Duman Incorporated versus Janet King at 9 o'clock Eastern on Thursday. This is the second game of the 12 here at the PIT.
Time now to meet the teams. First, the visitors on the scoreboard, or the guests, the Norfolk Sports Club.
Longtime public address announcer Jack Ankerson announcing the lineups for the fans in attendance here tonight. Looks like in white we're going to have number 10, 6'5" guard Tamar Bates out of Missouri. We'll have number 12, Cam Carter, 6'3" guard from LSU. We'll have number 31, the big man, 6'11", center Victor Lokin from Russia. Third Clemson player we'll see in this event. Davon Smith, number 2, a 6'1" guard from St. John's, known for his lightning speed out of Decatur, Georgia. And rounding out their starting lineup is going to be the guy I talked about a little while ago with Mark Davis down on the court, Tyson Degenhart, 6'8" forward from Boise State. And for Portsmouth partnership in the orange, number 33 jumping it up. Looks like we've got a number change, if I'm not mistaken. Looks like that is Umar Ballo, I believe.
Center from Indiana, number 33.
Yes, it is Umar Ballo. Initially it was 22 on my sheet, so we'll make that adjustment on the fly here. He'll be jumping up against Locken. You have number 20, David Gasson, 6'9" forward from Kansas State. He out of the Netherlands. You have, in addition to those two, Jemai Mashak, a 6'4" guard wearing number 10 from Tennessee. Ace Baldwin, number 4, a 6'1" guard from Penn State out of Baltimore, Maryland. Once cut his teeth at VCU, was the A-10 Defensive Player of the Year, and then a 2-time Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year for the Nittany Lions of Penn State, and Mike Rhodes.
And not playing, but on the Portsmouth partnership team,
That defensive pedigree for Ace Baldwin Jr. is going to make an interesting matchup, putting pressure on Davon Smith early and often.
Coaches for the
It's going to be something
partnership,
to keep
number
track of
C,
as well.
Eric Johnson, from the NBA, Dominique Johnson.
And our fifth starter will get that for you. I believe it's Zeke Mayo, the 6'4" guard from Kansas. So here we go, underway. The second game of our 12-game marathon of the PIT. And it's going to be a lob to Davon Smith right off the jump, 5 seconds in. Not too shabby a start, huh?
Guy gets up early.
An attack from the wing here. It's going to be Mashak kicking it out to Zeke Mayo. Shot fake, gets it back to Mashak. Mashak in the lane, turns to the left. Jumper's going to be off the back end of the iron. Battle for and won by Davon Smith. Davon Smith started off at Utah and then transferred to St. John's, helped Rick Pitino's Red Storm win the Big East regular season and tournament titles. There's Victor Locken throwing down the jam. Ballo trying to back it down against the big man and Locken. Don't see too many 7'1", 6'11" matchups in Portsmouth, but we see one there, and there's Umar Ballo getting it done. Ballo, who actually started out his college career at Gonzaga, then spent the next 3 at Arizona before concluding at Indiana, where he finished up with 1,676 points, 1,149 rebounds in his decorated career. We've got a whistle. Is it more of a filling out process, Matt, here to begin an event like this? You're playing with new teammates, different environment. It's not your college team. You're basically doing a job interview tryout, if you will. How long does it take for players to settle in? I mean, right off the jump, it looked like Davon Smith was ready to jump out of the gym here.
Yeah, no question. Well, with this, I think it's real interesting just because there is such a short amount of practice time for these teams to get to know each other a little bit. And I think another kind of thing that to take into account is a lot of these guys haven't played a lot of live basketball since the season ended. They're in the gym working out and all that, but maybe not as much 5-on-5. So just kind of getting your basketball game legs back underneath you is another thing to kind of keep in mind.
First foul shot through. Second one is as well. Pushes the lead to 4 at 6-2. Ball's loose on a steal here. On the move, Cam Carter as the LSU Tiger throws one down. He was at Mississippi State to start. Then he played a couple seasons at Kansas State, made 94 threes in 2 years there, and concluded with LSU. Had some big moments there, though they didn't make the NCAA tournament. Led a dramatic win over Oklahoma, had a big win over Arkansas for the Razorbacks, turned things around. And 8-2 here, Smith and Carter off to a great start. That backcourt combination for the Norfolk Sports Club. Now it's an 8-point lead as Tamar Bates scores it.
This Norfolk Sports Club's got some guards who can really get out and go and push the tempo.
Kick it out opposite side to Ace Baldwin. Now Ballo trying to back down the smaller Bates. 7-1 against 6'5", and the 7-1 guy misses it, rebounded by Locken.
Yeah, Ballo didn't look too inclined to bang there, even though he had a significant mismatch.
8-point lead. Oh, what a ferocious finish there inside. Talk about almost ripping the rim down, as that one was jammed home by David Gasson. If anybody was nodding off, they're wide awake now. My gracious. Locken tries a wing three. It's going to spin out. You know, Locken's actually got some touch there. He hit 24 threes this season at a 37.5% clip. Smith throws it to Ballo, wasn't ready for it. Here's Zeke Mayo to Ballo underneath, and this time he is ready to finish it down low. Umar Ballo cuts the deficit to 4.
Some nice patience for Mayo there, coming out of the get action. Let the big man roll. Was able to make a good decision, playing with some patience.
That should be offense.
Oh, step through with Cam Carter scoring it off the window.
Cam Carter, LSU with that basket.
Locken reaching in, there's a foul there. That could have certainly gone the other way.
Yeah, it was a nice job by Locken trying to compete for the post entry. Ref's ankle determined the direction of that call.
Foul charge for the sports club number 31, Victor Locken, first.
Locken charged with that personal foul as we near 6 minutes to go in our opening quarter. Ballo catching it on the roll to the basket, and he'll be found going up. It feels like he's gotten bigger now, listed at 265. Could that also be some, maybe not the greatest weight? What's your feeling on him? Because he is a massive human being. If people can't see quite on TV, on the court down here, my goodness, he definitely stands out.
I'm with you totally. His body, he's listed big, and he looks even bigger in person here. I think with him, it's going to be a guy who's probably, when he goes through the pre-draft process here, is going to be working with the strength and conditioning coach, trying to trim down any unneeded weight and gain maybe the type of mass he's looking for that's going to help him a little bit more at the next level.
And that free throw didn't graze any iron. That's almost a lineman-type build, although he's 7'1", he's not exactly a 6'7", 6'8" guy. We've got substitutions now as Locken will take a seat. We get our first look at Matthew Cleveland. He's number 14 on your screen in orange, 6'7" forward, 210 pounds from the Miami Hurricanes out of Atlanta, Georgia. He went to Florida State for a couple seasons and spent a pair for the Canes of Miami. Second foul shot also off the mark. 6-point cushion in the early going. Dribbling on the wing. C.J. Huntley has come in, the Appalachian State product. There's a 3-ball for Dingenhart. It was literally just 11 days ago. He was playing in the inaugural college basketball crown semifinals out in Las Vegas against Nebraska. And there's an answer the other direction. Zeke Mayo with that hoop. Ball's going to rattle around, and Ballo gets the rebound, gobbles it up.
Ballo's struggling to change ends here. Maybe the substitute might be somebody checking in for him at the table.
A little postseason cardio for both the teams here.
This can be an unforgiving setting if you're not ready in a certain area. Sometimes you obviously want to accentuate your strengths in something like this, but sometimes the flaws can be apparent if you're not up to snuff fully. Now here's a free throw for Matthew Cleveland, who leaves that one a little short. More substitutions now as Ballo will take a seat. And great Osobor coming in. Yeah, the 6'8", 250-pound forward from Washington who played at Montana State and Utah State before landing with the Huskies in the Big Ten. Still feels so weird saying the Huskies in the Big Ten, doesn't it?
There's nothing like tuning into a game when you see the old traditional Big Ten matchup between USC and Washington.
It's kind of like that ACC battle between Stanford and Cal we get on the East Coast. Or do we get it on the East Coast? Really, on the West Coast.
No doubt, no doubt.
There's a reach-in foul.
Partnership foul.
15-9 our tally. There's a close-up of Ballo. You can see he's pouring sweat here early. They're handing out cups of water to that bench. The guys in orange rocking the Portsmouth Partnership unis, coached by Dominique Johnson, Eric Johnson, and Evan Key. Evan Key was the head coach at Randolph College, small Division III college in our state, and that one's going to be thrown away. Webb Hatch, Jim Corrigan. Webb Hatch did some college coaching, as did Jim Corrigan. Corrigan was able to coach as an assistant both on the men's and women's side at nearby Old Dominion, and actually was on Kenny Brooks' staff a couple years ago on the women's side when Virginia Tech made its Final Four run. That's going to be a long miss. Offensive rebound, and the follow's no good for Cleveland. A lot of makeable shots inside, not going down. It's a 6-point cushion right now for Norfolk Sports Club. Eric Reynolds, the second's come in. The 6'2" guard from St. Joseph's wearing 14 on your screen. And there's number 23, Jamil Telfort, 6'7" forward from Butler, throwing one down.
Miscommunication. Telfort slipping to the basket. Should have been a switch.
Ball's thrown, a little deflection as it goes into the backcourt. Wing three is going to pop up and almost went through as it went above the basket. And we've got our first timeout on the floor. 4:27 to go in the first quarter in our second game at the PIT for 2025. It's Norfolk Sports Club up by 8, and we'll step aside. You're watching our coverage on WGNT.
Located at Brewers Casino. Big games.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Better, a little better, but it's not much. All right, we're back here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament alongside Daniel Sokolowski and Matt Jones. I am Matt Hatfield. Our score, Norfolk Sports Club on top of Portsmouth Partnership 17-9. So we've hit our first timeout break. What have you seen so far, guys? What do you like? What do you see in the early juncture of our second matchup tonight?
Going back to your first sentiment, like you said, just trying to feel each other out a little bit with limited practice time and guys you haven't played with. Kind of just getting a feel for who you really are, how you're gonna play, trying to execute some of the offensive schemes that you put in your practice, but really just a feel out period.
Yeah, interesting. Norfolk Sports Club, when they started out with Victor Lockett, they had the big fella out there being aggressive on the ball screen, which is pretty uncommon in this setting. Usually you just kind of see bigs drop back and the guards get to turn the corner and probe. So it's going to be interesting to see how Portsmouth's Partnership, the guards, handle that situation.
Both of you guys follow the basketball at all levels, including internationally. How much has that changed, the role of the five-man or even the stretch four, Daniel, and you can chime in too, Matt, as we watch Norfolk Sports Club go back to work here with this 8-point lead that's stolen away here, as it's going to be Matthew Cleveland and company trying to chip into this, where it's not your traditional Shaq, Hakeem Olajuwon, David Robinson anymore. We see guys like Jokic with the Nuggets and see different types of big men who step out and play in the perimeter too.
This is definitely a direction that the game is going, where the versatility of players across the board, you're having bigs initiate offense or be hubs of offense, that the ball plays through them at the top of the key or in the pinch post, the foul line extended, and now you're cutting and screening around them, allowing these primary ball handlers to run towards that big with some speed after they've received a screen. And it's just creating a different type of penetration that, I think defenses are still adjusting to.
That's a great way of putting it, Matt, because as Daniel brought up the pinch post, we hear old school fans say, I don't like it. There's no more back you down centers or power forwards anymore. I grew up around the Karl Malone, Charles Barkley type. But really the game's evolving, and it's not always bad. There can be some pluses to that, too.
The game is pass, dribble, shoot, and to the modern game, all 5 players need to be able to pass, dribble, shoot. Where and what some may call the old school basketball, if your forward could dribble a little bit, great. If they could shoot a little bit, great.
There's a basket and one opportunity now, as this one's starting to get a little tighter, as that's going to be scored. Matthew Cleveland on the move. If you watch that replay in transition, here's Cleveland going coast to coast. He's good as butter and toast. He's got fouled with it too, with 3:27 to go in our first quarter. And all kinds of basketball fans in attendance here at the PIT just saw Bruce Hornsby, the local musician legend from Williamsburg, go up in the stands, talk to some folks. His son Keith, by the way, who played at LSU. Not when Cam Carter was there, but several years back.
International career for Keith Hornsby. He's drilled us a few times from the three-point line when I was coaching against him in Germany.
Oh, so you've got some Keith Hornsby stories. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, sniper.
I see Bruce in the stands there shaking hands and might be signing autographs soon here. And it's going to be a foul with 3:09 to go in the first quarter. We might see if we can snag Bruce at some point during our telecast coverage this week here. Folks watching on WGNT and all over the globe. And it's going to be another substitution now with Umar Ballo coming in. He'll relieve another big body, Great Osobor, 6'8", 250 pounds from Bradford, England. Did produce 24 career double-doubles, 15 2 seasons ago when he was the Mountain West Player of the Year at Utah State.
Yeah, one of the more coveted bigs this time around last year in the transfer portal. Washington. It was a big coup for Washington.
Going behind the back with the dribble, it's Eric Reynolds up top. There's a 3 ball that's canned from C.J. Huntley, the Huntersville, North Carolina product, who played the last game of his college career against Old Dominion. It was a 61-56 loss in the 4th round of the Sun Belt Tournament back on March the 7th, but C.J. certainly made his presence felt with 88 starts and 5 seasons at App State with over 1,300 points and close to 800 rebounds, plus made 153 threes. We got a foul again at the other end.
Again, an interesting new defensive choice for Norfolk Sports Club here. They've gone into switching, and you got Great Osobor down there in the paint. It's going to be a wrestling match. They've already picked up a foul, trying to get the ball into him in the post against the guard.
Ballo back to the foul line, where it's been a mini adventure so far. And that one's short.
The adventure continues.
1,676 points, 1,149 rebounds in his time, but he was just a 56.5% career foul shooter. Now, it's interesting. He played soccer, or football as it's called over there, in Mali as a goalkeeper. Second free throw is good, but then he shifted his focus to basketball and moved to France at age 15. He's got a lot of experience playing basketball with FIBA, under 19, under 18, under 16 in international hoops. So he's well-traveled, well-versed, and that jumper is good. A pull-up shot for Eric Reynolds, the second.
St. Joe.
Ace Baldwin at the controls. Such a weapon for Mike Rhodes. He had a brief injury a few years back, but recovered nicely to pick up Defensive Player of the Year hardware in both the A-10 and the Big Ten. Long-range jumper won't go down. Rebounded out beyond the foul line to Huntley. Now a chance for Norfolk Sports Club to put it into double figures, and they do just that, as that's scored inside by Telfort. Tons of international flavor, guys, as Telfort hails from Montreal, Quebec. You got Locken from Russia, Ballo from Mali, Osobor from England, and we thought we would have Augustus Marshallonis, but he was a late scratch. He had a Lithuania, as that shot is good.
I think that's a trend we're going to see continue with the new marketplace that the transfer portal is, there's an incentive to have players that are ready. In the European model, they have these kids playing professionally with their clubs from 18, 19, 20 years old, and they come over ready to play.
How excited is R.J. Felton, Matt? He gets the call last minute, makes the trip to Portsmouth from East Carolina, and has a chance to impress some scouts. It's one of those things where you don't expect the call to come, and it does last second, and here's a chance to make the most of the opportunity for him.
A good introduction to pro basketball, where just staying ready and being ready is part of being a pro, and this is a great introduction into that way of life.
When your number's called, better be there to answer the call. It's going to be a little dribble maneuver. Eric Reynolds' shot, pinballs out, rebounded underneath. Matthew Cleveland's got it. Cleveland kicks it out. Ace Baldwin using the screen from Ballo. Gets into the body of Tamar Bates and misses the runner, but a couple of free throws coming with 1:06 to go in the first quarter.
Baldwin, just that classic pass in both directions. He lives in penetration on the offensive end. He's harassing the primary ball handler on the defensive end. A tool that the coach wants in the toolkit.
Well, I think back to, Baldwin's known as that defensive presence. When you think of, he started out at VC, you think of Havoc, and you think of Briante Weber, who hails from this area, Great Bridge High School in Chesapeake, had some brief stints in the NBA, also played overseas. You think of guys like Kent Bazemore, who played at Old Dominion. There's a place in pro basketball and anywhere, it doesn't have to be NBA, if you have that ability to change a game at one end like some of these guys do.
Having a motor is going to get a lot of guys paid, whether that's as an on-ball defender or a rim runner as a big or whatever it may be. And I think sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that. We start thinking about how many points people score or how well they shoot, but just being committed to defending every possession is a good way to make a lot of money no matter where that may be.
So an 8-point advantage right now for Norfolk Sports Club on top of Portsmouth Partnership. We're having a little bit of a technical issue with the live stats, so we'll pass some numbers along when we have them at our disposal for folks that are wondering. Davon Smith's got the rock, dumps it off to Tamar Bates.
See Meshack hounding the ball. This was his role in Tennessee this year.
Yeah, two great defenders with Baldwin and Meshack. Meshack, not even a guy that scored a whole bunch of points, but he can really change up a game defensively. There's a lob, and Matthew Cleveland flushes it down with 40 ticks to go in the first quarter, and Portsmouth Partnerships making it a ball game, just a two-possession deficit. And going back to your point there, Daniel, about what Meshack can do, he was chosen Defensive Player of the Year nationally by Field of 65 as we watch Ballo underneath, and there's the dunk we talked about with Mark Davis before the game. We was going to have some dunk opportunities. Got off to a very sluggish start, but now the engine's starting to rev up for him, and it's time for Norfolk Sports Club. They need this first quarter to come to an end soon.
That dunk is a full byproduct of Meshack hounding the ball from half court, forcing a sloppy pass that created the turnover.
Apologize, I said Field of 65, meant Field of 68, National Defensive Player for Meshack. There's a runner that's good for Tamar Bates to beat the horn, and just like that, a little more breathing room for Norfolk Sports Club. On top of Portsmouth Partnership, 26-21. You like buckets, you like jams, you like threes. We've got it all for you and so much more from the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament at Churchland High School.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
The Auto Connection bringing your coverage of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament on WGNT. And we thank all of you that are tuning in. Hampton Roads and beyond, alongside Daniel Sokolowski and Matt Jones. I'm Matt Hatfield as Umar Ballo tries to get Portsmouth partnership even closer to start off the second quarter. As he'll be making, I believe, his 5th and 6th trips to the free throw line in this first half. Earlier tonight, it was K&D Rounds surviving and advancing, as they say. That's what it is when you get to tournament basketball, right? They were able to beat Sales System 74-73 after coughing up a 23-point lead that they had in the second quarter. Sean Padula lifting them to the win with a couple of free throws in the last 30 seconds. And they will be in action coming up in the semifinals against the winner of this game on Friday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, as Ballo misses the first of 2 free throws again. And that's an area he'll have to sharpen up on if he hopes to attract more eyeballs on him.
He's just so active. He always ends up in the play somehow, some way.
And we talked about just his size. There's not but so many guys that are 7'1", 265 pounds walking the face of the earth. Here's a three-point shot from the wing, and it's going to be drained from Cam Carter. 83-point makes this past season for the LSU Tigers. 94 the 2 seasons before that at Kansas State. And it pushes it back to 7. Oh, what an attack by Meshack. Regarded for his defensive prowess, and that time gets the runner. Little shot fake, step back 3 ball. It's going to spin out for Carter. One and done for Norfolk Sports Club. Little hesitation dribble move from Baldwin, who's going to dump it off down low to Ballo, who gets fouled again. Continues to draw foul after foul after foul underneath. Question could be down the stretch, can he knock down these free throws in closing time if it's especially as close as the last game was?
Otherwise, we might see a resurgence of the Haka Shack. Call it the Haka Umar.
Yeah, Haka Umar, and maybe some offense-defense subbing in some instances. We'll see. These rosters not as big as a lot of your NBA, college, pro rosters out there when you see 10, 15 guys. It's 8 men on each team. And as we touched on in our first telecast this evening, halftime length 12 minutes. The overtime rules got an Elam ending where the target score is determined by adding 8 points to the score at the end of the fourth period. The team to score 8 points first wins. And timeout's different as well. Oh, and there's a follow jam that did not go down.
Victor Lockett stepping in to challenge that.
Yeah, Lockett.
Mishap.
Almost as nasty as Jonathan Pierre's dunk we had earlier tonight from Belmont. Lockett, top of the key, 3 balls, money for Victor Lockett. He's just gotten better and better, folks. Shot 58.2% on twos in the 23-24 season, and now he's starting to hit threes at almost 40% this past year. Started 56 games at Cincinnati, then transferred to Clemson. Here's a deep range shot that's going to be buried. And Zeke Mayo, who played for the Kansas Jayhawks, was the Summit League Player of the Year in 2024 at South Dakota State for the Jackrabbits. He's known to knock down some threes during his college career, both with the Jackrabbits and the Jayhawks, and Locken goes back to work inside. Neat to see some of the skills of these two big guys in Locken and Ballo. It's still a 6-point gap, though. And we're going to get a whistle. It's going to be a timeout, it looks like. So we will be stepping aside as well, as we've got 7 minutes and 56 seconds until intermission. It's game 2 of 12 here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Come on back for more.
First, keep you pain-free and ready to move. Sports medicine, health care for the university.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Alongside Matt Jones and Daniel Sokolowski, Matt Hatfield here with you. We got Joe Allen on camera. Thank our entire crew for making this broadcast possible this evening from Churchland High School in Portsmouth. It's the second game of our extravaganza, the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. It's something you were bringing up during the break there, Matt, an all-female officiating crew. Pretty neat and something we don't usually see every day.
Yeah, great opportunity for all these referees to be evaluated. I know there's the watchful eye of the great Joey Crawford here giving some feedback to some of these officials, so a great opportunity to advance careers as a referee just like it is as a player.
A distinguished officiating career in the NBA Joey Crawford had. I believe it might have been last year or a couple of years back. He was the guest speaker at the PIT, the luncheon. I know this year's guest speaker on Friday is going to be Kyle O'Quinn, former Norfolk State great, played in the NBA.
Also spent some time overseas playing for Fenerbahce in the EuroLeague in Turkey.
Yeah, he's beloved here in the 757 area code. To beat the shot clock, the shot will not go down for Zeke Mayo, but there's an offensive rebound for David Gasson. How about the growth spurt he hit from 6'3" to 6'9" between ages 15 and 17? And there's a roll for Matthew Cleveland. It's almost reminiscent to me to the growth spurt that Dorian Finney-Smith, who now plays for the LA Lakers, had when he was in high school here in Portsmouth, right down the road from Churchland High School. He played at IC Norcom, one of the 757 greats. Got traded this year to the Lakers from Brooklyn after being traded from Dallas to Brooklyn. You hit that growth spurt sometimes a little later than a lot of kids do, and it can lead itself to making yourself a lot of money, as that three ball will not go down. It's going to be rebounded by Grant Osobor. Ace Baldwin trying to bounce it in. Osobor kicks it out. Osobor backing down against Locken. Ball's loose. Gets it back.
Great defense.
That was outstanding defense there. 4-point gap, running the floor, head fake. There's Degenhart. Does a lot of heady things on the floor in that hoop, making it a 6-point lead.
A good catch and gather there, just doing the simple things well.
Getting him off his feet and locking, but unable to finish it was Gasson. And now kick out to Degenhart, who's ready to cock and fire, and he drains the three. Tyson Degenhart, 2,037 points at Boise State, 166 made threes. And for people here in Portsmouth that are seeing him for the first time, catching their eye, but people all over the country have been watching college basketball, knows what he's about. We'll step aside. More second quarter action coming your way from the PIT. And we welcome you back here to our continuing coverage on WGNT and beyond. It's Norfolk Sports Club leading Portsmouth Partnership 39-30 with 6:18 to go in the first half. Alongside Matt Jones and Daniel Sokolowski, Matt Hatfield here with you. I'll ask both you guys. Let's start with you, Matt. What do you love most about coming to Portsmouth for the PIT?
I think it's the small town feel, the high school feel, where, you know, these are obviously, you got every NBA team here. Tons of people from abroad in the basketball world, and you come in, it's just a normal high school gym, and it's easy to move around, it's easy to get to. I think that's what kind of makes it special. There's just a community feel to it, a small kind of more intimate feel, and that just doesn't happen in the pro basketball a whole lot.
It's an amazing contrast between the the concentration of basketball decision makers that are in the building, the environment itself with the high school gym, and obviously the gravity of the stage these guys are on, and you go back each year. Last year was Isaac Jones, the year before that Tumani Kamara, and the list goes on. Someone's going to change their life over the course of these next 3 days, get themselves drafted.
Yeah, flying under the radar in some respects, but if you make your name here at this event, it can lead to bigger and better things. No question about it. It's going to be inbounded for Portsmouth Partnership. On the move, R.J. Felton. He totaled 1,774 points in his 4 seasons at East Carolina. Long-range attempt as the shot clock was ticking down. It's going to go off the back of the iron, and it will head the other direction to Norfolk Sports Club.
To go back to your point, I think one of the other unique things here is just as a fan, if you're a common fan and just want to check out some college basketball, is you can sit three rows from the floor and see high-level basketball, where sometimes getting that type of seat and accessibility is a little bit harder to do during a college basketball season.
And for the youngsters out here, the kids, the athletes are pretty accessible. There's a runner that's good for Eric Reynolds the second, who had 2,175 points in his career at St. Joe's, which saw him start 132 of 133 games. For the kids in attendance, they can go up to a player before, after the game, give the autograph, and it's not like if you go sometimes to different sporting events and there's tons of security and you can't get near where some of these guys are. And the players are pretty friendly too. I think they like the attention from some of the kids out there that want that autograph, and they don't know where it's going to be 5, 6, 7 years from now, but for them, you're making their day.
Special thing for sure.
Eric Reynolds has the basketball as we near 5 minutes to go in the first half. 11-point lead. It's going to be poked away and stolen. Here's Zeke Mayo on the move and lays it off the glass for 2. Zeke Mayo had some ups and downs, 14.6 points per game for the Jayhawks. Ironically enough, he was a little inconsistent. 10 games of 20-plus points, the Jayhawks were 8-2, which included the final 3 before the NCAA tournament loss to Arkansas. He had 11 games of single digits. The team was 6-5. But on a team that has Hunter Dickinson and KJ Adams and DeJuan Harris, not everybody knew about Zeke Mayo, and he was a major producer before he got to Kansas at South Dakota State.
Yeah, with them, it was just one of those things where, in the modern basketball with the portal and roster creation, all that, making sure all the pieces fit, and I think just it took them a while to make sure to figure out how their pieces were actually going to fit.
And it was a strange year for the Jayhawks. They opened up House of Fire. They were number 1 in the country. They beat North Carolina in a wild game early in the season, but then they hit that rocky patch middle of the season and just had a hard time recovering it in a very rugged Big 12 that Houston was the dominant team in. There's a steal on the move now. It's Cam Carter. Going to bounce it to Degenhardt. It goes to the rack, and he'll draw the foul. A couple of free throws coming for Tyson Degenhardt of the Boise State Broncos.
To that point around Kansas, you're going to see that be a challenge every year going forward, from high major to low major, how quickly you can get a basically entirely new roster to gel and implement a system. It's going to be a huge coaching challenge. Basically very similar to international basketball.
Yeah, the roster construction now, guys, with high school players, how many do you take if they're not that top 100, 250 guys, junior college players, and then the grad transfers or transfers in general that are in the portal opening up this month. Free throw is good for Degenhardt. It's certainly a big deal and still hard for some to figure out and grasp fully. How about Degenhardt, by the way? Finance major with a 3.92 cumulative grade point average. The only Mountain West player to garner that distinction this year, and a 2-time academic All-American. So he's headed for great things, perhaps even beyond the sport of basketball with those academic numbers.
Yeah, we better hope he loves it. He makes his way to either the NBA or international, because he definitely doesn't need the job. He's going to find himself a lovely career one way or another with those academic profiles.
44-34. 10-point lead. Here's a deep 3 from the wing. It's short for Mayo. Didn't get enough arc on that one. Up ahead, and there's a jam for Davon Smith. The 6'1" guard can get up off the floor. He had 13 points and 6 rebounds in that round of 32 loss to Arkansas back in March. And Norfolk Sports Club with a 12-point cushion now as we near 3 minutes to go in this first half. Follow swings it to the left. Here's Meshack. Meshack kicks it out. Deep 3 ball is canned. R.J. Felton knocking it down. 235 made threes in his collegiate career, all 4 seasons as a member of the East Carolina Pirates. Trying to come right back at you and getting the friendly roll. Tamar Bates of the Missouri Tigers knocking it down. Bates started off at IMG Academy, then in college, Indiana Hoosiers from 2021 to 2023 before finishing up with Missouri. And there's another 3-ball. It's right in threes in Portsmouth as that one is drilled with Felton knocking it down. Is it great offense or suspect defense or a little bit of both?
Depends if you're an offensive-minded coach or a defensive-minded coach. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
You're seeing these guys step back from pretty deep right now, so it's like how far are you willing to contest?
Daniel, Matt hit me with the politically correct answer. I love it right there. That was on button, though. It was on the button.
It's bipartisan.
There you go. And we got a guy down on the floor with 2:18 to go. He's going to be helped up, and that is number 20, David Gasson, born and raised in the Netherlands. Talked about that growth spurt he hit. Pretty efficient from the field, 64.4%.
A lot of rim runs, a lot of offensive rebounds, like the ultimate garbage man who just plays hard and makes things happen for himself.
That's a superpower in the modern game, playing within yourself and knowing what your strengths are.
What's interesting to me is if you check a lot of different places, he was listed by some as a guard, some as a wing, some as a power forward. I think he's still trying to find that identity, but he definitely, as you said, those rim runs. And there's another deep one as Meshack making his presence felt. It's a 6-point game. A high-scoring first half here. You look at the last game, 74-73. We're on pace to, I don't know about shatter that, but surpass that in this one. And there's another 3-ball that's drilled. Tamar Bates. All kinds of 3-pointers. Going right to the basket for the layup.
RJ making the most of this opportunity.
Felton has had a super second quarter here. Down low, the kick out. Feeder set for Huntley. His 3. That ends the run of 3 balls galore here. 7-point gap for Portsmouth Partnership, trying to make it closer by halftime. Up top to Ballo. Couldn't handle it, and Dingenhart came over to swipe it from him.
The Meshack effect.
Certainly people watched Tennessee and they saw what Chaz Lanier and Zakai Ziegler did, but Meshack, one of those unsung heroes for Tennessee, making back-to-back Elite 8 runs.
Relentless on the defensive end. A little bit of Lou Dort in the frame and the persistence.
Yeah, I like that call. And Lou Dort, who figures to be one of the finalists along with Draymond Green for Defensive Player of the Year. He'd get my vote, Dort, if it means anything to anybody out there with what OKC's been able to do. But yeah, he has been a defensive menace out here.
I think there'd be no contest if Wemby had stayed healthy.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. Wemby is just a different guy. That one's going to be given over. Oh, what a jam by Tamar Bates. Put that one on the wall, a poster.
He's helping himself with the shot making and showcasing his athleticism.
How about his free throw shooting? 220 of 238 in his college career, 92.4%.
That's impressive.
There's a roll that's good for Felton, who was just getting off in this first half.
Yeah, 10 points in this quarter, probably in the last 5 minutes of this quarter, really putting together a nice offensive showcase. Looks a little gassed on the defensive end, though. Hands on his knees.
Last possession for Davon Smith and company. Trying to build him the 7-point lead. Dingenhart trying to free him up. Davon for a deep 3. Not maybe his best shot or game. And then Meshack just heaves one from beyond half court. And that will take us to halftime. Our score, Norfolk Sports Club leading Portsmouth Partnership 54-47 in our nightcap of Day 1 of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School. We've got some halftime conversations coming your way in just a bit. Stay tuned. You're watching the PIT.
Welcome back to the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament on WGNT 27. Sponsored by the Auto Connection.
Sorry. Halftime here of Game 2 of the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. We got a 54-47 game right now, live on WGNT. Happy to be joined now by Old Dominion assistant coach Odell Hodge. Coach, thanks a lot for being with us. Hey, a lot of good basketball being played here on the floor. What are your impressions so far of the night?
Well, the second game is a lot faster, more speed in this game. First game, I guess guys were trying to fill each other out. It's exciting. It's exciting to be back here to watch some great basketball.
As a college coach, what are you looking for when you're watching these guys play?
You know, if they playing with each other, if they playing as a team, who's out there playing the right way. You know, in these showcase games, guys is looking for their own a lot, trying to, you know, do what's best for them. And I think in the first two games, you see a lot of ball movement, guys getting after it, rebounding, some really athleticism in this second game. It's fun to see.
Now, it's 2025. You were here in the mid-'90s playing at Old Dominion. This tournament got started way back in 1953. What do you remember about this tournament's pedigree from the mid-'90s when you were at your heyday?
There was a lot of good athletes back then. I feel like guys back then, you know, late 80s, early 90s, late 90s, guys playing to prove something, to try to make a name for themselves. Now it's like it's a little bit give me. You know, guys is let's say more spoiled, if you will, entitled. And maybe that's unfair at times, but we're living in different times now, right? It's easier for the guys to just say, look, you don't have to work as hard as you did before. And it's like I said, generation after generation, and somewhat it's not fair to these guys. And I want to be fair, but when we came here, we was trying to prove something. And it was not so much about ourselves, it was just trying to show something for these fans that's coming out here to watch.
Well, and how hard is it to gel with 7 new other players, basically with no time to prepare?
It's very difficult. You know, you can only get one time to practice before you get to play, and then it's straight games. So my point is, if you're in it for the right reason, you can gel right away. But it all depends from the leadership too. Whoever's leading these teams, what are you teaching these guys? But, you know, for the most part, what I've seen for the first 2 games, they're playing the right way, and they're gelling pretty well.
What's the pressure like for you, real quick, about 15 seconds left? Pressure with all these eyeballs watching from the scouts?
The pressure is the pressure, you know, but some of these guys, you're playing in front of, what, 1,500 people now? 2,000 at most?
Yeah.
You know, you're playing in front of 10,000, 12,000 all the time, so it's really no pressure. It's basketball.
Old Dominion assistant coach Odell Hodge, thanks a lot for being with us. We'll be right back with more PIT live on WGNT. Back here live with PIT coverage live on WGNT. Right now, Norfolk Sports Club leading Portsmouth partnership 54-48 in Game 2 of the night. Matthew Hatfield, the guy on the call all weekend long. Matt, good one here. We got some rim rocking. We got some outside shooting. It's been a good one so far.
It has been, Mark. And Tamar Bates of Missouri has really been a major force in this first half for Norfolk Sports Club. Just his ability to get off the floor athletically. Other end for Portsmouth, Jemai Mashak, defensively. This is a guy that averaged less than 7 points per game at Tennessee, but he's been a junkyard dog on defense. We had earlier Daniel talk about him being like a Lou Dort type in the NBA. So you'll see some of these guys that 5-6 years from now, whether they're on an NBA roster or somewhere, you'll say, I remember him from the PIT. That's the thing we all come away with. You remember them when you saw them for the first time live in an event like this. And I'll tell you what, guys like Umar Ballo back here, these guys are huge out here. They're big dudes.
Yeah, no doubt. And, you don't realize how huge they are until we see them right here. We're standing on the baseline down here at the end of the court. We got some coaches walking by. Go ahead, guys. Big, physical, and we see the physicality in an event like this.
Yeah, and for these coaches, it matters too, because I'm going to tell you, I walked in here, these coaches, a lot of them are high school and college coaches, they're jawing back and forth. There's bragging rights between these guys. I don't know if they have any dinner bets on the line, but it matters to them. I think you see that. These things, these outcomes, they have a meaning to them. And that's what we're seeing from the players, the coaches on the sideline. And for some of these coaches, they have aspirations of coaching at a higher level as well.
Absolutely. And some of them are becoming staples and familiar faces we see year after year here at the PIT. Hey, speaking of familiar faces, Ace Baldwin, a guy we've seen up in Richmond playing for VCU, went to Penn State with Mike Rhodes. His name's been called a couple times here tonight.
And you know what? He hasn't in a loud first half, but as this game comes down to crunch time, we've seen him before. You've watched him at VCU. We've watched him at Penn State. He has that ability to rise to the occasion, and he's not afraid of the moment, the bright lights. So we got some guys like Baldwin, Degenhardt, who I talked with you about in our outstart. They can really rise to the occasion. This game could go down to the wire like the last game. The thing I like, unlike the last game, is higher scoring. We're seeing more alley-oops, more jams, more threes. The crowd likes that.
Yeah, no doubt at all. The crowd's really getting into it. These baskets are holding up nicely, wouldn't you say? Matt, what has jumped out the most to you here on night number 1 of the PIT?
I think just the competitive spirit. I think players have gotten past the analytics element of how many points I score, how many shots I get up, impact the game in other ways beyond the stat sheet. We saw that in our first game with Sean Padula. He from Ole Miss, who played at Virginia Tech, really put his fingerprints with the defensive end. We're watching it with Mashak, and I'm sure we'll see it from Baldwin in the second half. Guys can do things that always show up in the stat sheet and the numbers.
Matt Hatfield, great job. Thank you very much. We'll get back to your play-by-play duties. This game 2 of a very busy week here at the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. 3 games tomorrow, 3 games Friday. Then once again, we got 4 games on Saturday to cap things off. We have more 2025 Portsmouth Invitational Tournament coming up live on WGNT right after this.
All right, so third quarter's underway. You missed a couple of missed shots from Ballo and Davon Smith, and now in orange, Portsmouth Partnership trailing this one 54-48. Goes to the basket as it's going to be Ace Baldwin attacking, and he'll get a couple of free throws alongside Matt Jones and Daniel Sokolovsky. I am Matt Hatfield. Our score, 54-48 in favor of Norfolk Sports Club here. And Baldwin at the foul line to try to make this thing even closer. Misses the first two. The Baltimore, Maryland native in our second game of the 12-game marathon. That is the 2025 edition of the PIT. Fans spending their Wednesday night here as the month of April winds down. There's a swipe. Baldwin getting involved. And there's an attack to the rack as it'll be Matthew Cleveland. See, Daniel Jones and me agree here. He's got the best first name in the building, doesn't he?
That's a fact. That is a fact.
Nobody's going to get that argument from us. Well, Cleveland at the line now, shooting these foul shots to try to make this a one-possession game, 54-49.
See if either of these teams can get a few more contests, make the shots a little more difficult than in the first half when both teams were really kind of cooking offensively.
We had a stretch there where it was exchanging threes left and right, left and right.
Yeah, well, the previous game got played in the 70s. This one's on first to 100.
I do wonder who will be the first team to crack triple digits in this tournament. I haven't scanned through all the rosters, but you imagine there's going to be somebody that just is clicking on all cylinders for the whole game, for all 40 minutes of regulation, and perhaps more if it's the Elam ending in overtime. Good ball movement here, is making a lot of extra passes.
Oh, should have been a foul. They let him play.
And there's a block as Ballo pinned that one, now back on the move. And it's going to be thrown away. Norfolk Sports Club getting it with Telfort. Telfort's runner is good. And that puts it back to a 7-point gap of 56-49. Kick out. Ballo looking to set the screen for Ace Baldwin. Fake to right, attack left, going baseline. He hits the deck. And then running out of bounds with it was Cam Carter.
Sounds like a simple statement, but in this environment, just moving the ball and passing the ball 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a possession, you're probably going to get a good shot.
Underneath, it's scored for Meshack.
To that point, Matt, it's the double-edged sword of if I pass it, will I get it back? And if I don't get it back, can I showcase what I can do in a showcase setting like this? So.
Huntley, the App State product, scoring again. Showed some flashes in that second period, and it's a 58-51 score. See if Norfolk Sports Club with this 7-point lead can dig in again defensively to try to push it back into double digits. There's a block from Locken. That'll help in that effort. Ball moved around the perimeter. Here's Locken trying to attack off the bounce and scores it against Ballo.
That face-up ability for Locken, trailing, catch, attack the closeout, finish with a little bump, that's going to help him a lot.
He feels like a sleeper name in this event, at least showing some of the glimpses of what he can do and the improvement he's made over the last couple of years. And we've got a timeout on the floor with 7:21 to go in the third quarter. Portsmouth Partnership down by 9, but if you watched our first game, a 23-point lead evaporated. Nearly a comeback win for Sales Systems, which fell to K&D Rounds Landscape. We'll take a timeout, too. You're watching the PIT.
Attention, please.
Portsmouth Partnership trailing this one 60-51, and there's a perimeter jumper that won't go down. Lock-in with another rebound for the guys in white for Norfolk Sports Club. Still effort in getting you some statistics that we'll pass along when we have them available to us. Top of the key, here's a three for Lock-in. It's drained, showing that touch from distance, and Victor Lock-in having fun at the 71st annual PIT.
The mechanics there look very sustainable. That looks like it's going to be a big part of his game going forward, and that should help in the pro game.
An answer to make it a 10-point deficit. Little crossover kick now as Carter feeds it. Three-point shot won't go. Rebounded by Baldwin. Great Osabor's got it. Sizing up Huntley. And Huntley got a mid on it to block it, but it's going to go off of Orange last, so a great stop for C.J. Huntley and Norfolk Sports Club.
That's a big body coming right at him and was able to make a great defensive play.
This game, even though the scoring has been there, this is the high-level defensive plays you're seeing from Huntley, Meshack. Baldwin's known for his defensive exploits, if you will. We're seeing some guys step up to the challenge in doses. Here's Cam Carter.
Lock-in's had a few really nice plays protecting the rim as well.
Absolutely.
Follow collision at the rim.
Underneath, working hard for two. It's Jamil Telfort. And Telfort, beg your pardon, able to score it, 65-53. Deficit's a dozen now for Portsmouth Partnership. Cam Carter's got it. Goes behind the back with a dribble. Carter has it poked from behind by Baldwin. And there's a dunk as David Gasson throws it down. That dunk making it a 10-point gap at 65-55. Watkins got it up top. Trying to spin his way against the defender. And Gasson, and how about Victor Lock-in? Showing the full package now. He's hitting the threes. He's going off the bounce.
Handling pressure from the top of the key. There's a lot of resistance from Gasson. Works his way to the middle of the paint and converts.
His two Clemson teammates that are also playing at the PIT battled earlier tonight as it was Ian Shefflin's team falling. Sales Systems getting beat by K&D Round 74-73. Chase Hunter and company getting the victory. But a win tonight for Norfolk Sports Club means Lock-in will see Hunter coming up on Friday in the semifinals. And that game will come your way at 7 o'clock. Whoever wins this one to see K&D Rounds. 7 o'clock Eastern on Friday, April 18th. We'll have it all for you here on WGNT. And here's the free throw for Great Osaborn.
An underrated aspect of playing these Wednesday night games is if you win, you don't have to play again until Friday. So you get another day to practice, another day to rest. As we kind of mentioned before, you know, some of these guys maybe not in perfect cardio shape, so a day to get their body right, rest. I think that's to your advantage when you're trying to show the best version of yourself.
And it's a quick turnaround for the teams that lose tonight, playing at 3:15 on Thursday. You want to get them off. It's almost the old adage of what they say in the NCAA tournament, get them off their feet, get back to the hotel, and there's a three ball. That was wet. Telfort starting to find his groove here. Spent 3 years at Northeastern before the last two at Butler, did he? Little pump maneuver. Zeke Mayo getting it underneath, and now Osobor kicks it out to the corner, trying to drive his way in. Gasson changed his direction and got the angle to deliver too. Underneath, it's Dingenhart.
Just finds himself in the right place at the right time consistently.
Dingenhart able to score yet again. He really just has a knack for making those plays, like you said, Daniel. I mean, he is a factor. Lock-in now going up to check Osobor. About 12 to 14 feet away from the rim. Now he's getting closer in. Osobor spins back as the shot clock sounds. Offensive rebound and the dunk for Great Osobor.
Degenhardt's performance here is reminiscent of what Riley Minix did at this event this time last year. Really helped himself get in the mix with the San Antonio Spurs. Timely shots, timely cuts, running the floor, doing the things in the weeds, but helping his team win.
And that was a name that was not on a lot of people's radar, the common casual observer, and he certainly balled out here. There's a basket and one going in transition. Almost running over one of our camera operators. Good thing the collision was minimal. We watch it again. Matthew Cleveland. Matthew Cleveland, one of the few players I bet here, Matt, that has not played in the NCAA tournament. He played 2 seasons at Miami. It was not during the stretch when Jim Larinaga took the Canes to the Final Four when they were led by Isaiah Wong and Jordan Miller, who's now with the LA Clippers and that crew. And the 2 seasons he played before that at Florida State, they didn't go dancing either. So he put up a lot of numbers. Never played in an NCAA tournament, but a lot of people like his passing, his vision, and his size and strength blend he's got.
It's easy to take for granted just how hard it is to be good to make an NCAA tournament. He had some probably a little bit of misfortune, still had a great career, but I think sometimes it can be easy to take some of that stuff for granted.
Absolutely, a bigger wing who scores inside and out and hits the glass at times, and there it's going to be knocked out of the hands of Zeke Mayo with 2.5 minutes to go in our third period. 72-63 as Norfolk Sports Club leads this one by 9. Driving with the right hand at Zeke Mayo. Slashing through, it's Gasson, loses it. Degenhardt got it. Up ahead to Carter. Maintains the dribble. Over to Tamar Bates. He's doubled. What a pass and a flush from Locken. Great play at both ends. The dish from Bates and then the finish from Locken as those two team up for a play to make it a double-digit lead.
Locken really dominating this third quarter.
It's a top 10 play from the evening. Long three, no good, and Locken gets the board. Straight away 3 ball. This one won't go down. Telfort misfire, but there's Locken again getting in the mix. How about a guy that size covering that ground to get a steal, though he lost it at the end. Have to appreciate the hustle from him.
But Lockett in this third quarter showcasing some of what we talked about earlier, the hub of offense as a big from the top of the key. He's caught it in driven and he's caught it in shot. He's caught it connected it to guards trailing the play, showcasing a lot of how pro bigs are being utilized in modern offense.
Just seems to have a great feel when he does catch it. He's confident in what he's doing.
Getting some of that water over there by the Gatorade bucket in the corner of your screen. Zeke Mayo kicks it out for a 3 by R.J. Felton, who got hot late in that second quarter, and he's trying to catch fire again here as the third quarter's winding down.
That's a pro skill. Step right off the bench, and first time you catch it, you shoot it, you nail it. He's done that in back-to-back quarters now. That's something that these scouts are definitely going to notice.
Well, let's be honest. It's very rare, almost impossible for someone to come out of an event like this and be an immediate day one boom guy in a professional rank. So you have to be able to come off that bench, accept that role, and do what he's doing here. It's going to be a roll. Missed shot. Huntley couldn't get it to go. Osobor on the move over to Mayo. A hoop right here will make things really interesting. And there's a deep range connection. Matthew Cleveland.
Cleveland has been one of the better vertical athletes in this game so far. Him stepping out and showcasing that he's effective from the three-point line as well is definitely something people are going to take notice of.
He improved from just 17.6% as a freshman three-point shooter to 38.2% as a senior, more than doubled. So he got better in that department as his college career progressed from down in the Sunshine State with the Seminoles of Florida State to the Hurricanes of Miami. And we've got a couple of free throws now, and it's going to be for the 6'11 forward, C.J. Huntley. I mentioned this to Mark Davis guys at halftime. I think for some of the common fans, if you come out to this event and you're in Hampton Roads or you're watching on TV, you might not just realize how large some of these human beings are until they're right next to you, about to run you over, or they're just right behind you. And Huntley's a 6'11 forward, and tell me if I'm wrong here, Matt and Daniel, but he's not a 5 guy either. He's not a center.
He fits modern basketball. Like we talked about earlier, he can pass, dribble, and shoot, and he just happened to hit the genetic lottery.
Yeah, but I mean, you think of in your brain a 6'11" guy, he's going to play the 5. No, he's a forward, folks, and he's got some game. Free throw's good. And I think that's also translates to a lot of your guards. A lot of your smaller guards have almost gone by the wayside in some respects. You don't see as many of the diminutive style guards. People coveting guards that are 6'4" to 6'6" in different instances. Zeke Mayo, the guard with the basketball right now with 15 ticks to go. Gasson goes to the right. He dribbles to the left. Dingenhart staying connected to Zeke. Underneath, Osborne's got it. Head fake, and it rolls in. Oh, he baited Huntley that time and got the hoop.
And the dying art of the effective post entry from Zeke Mayo. Put that pass on the money.
Top of the key, 3 ball, not going to go down for Telford, and we've got ourselves another potential barn burner. Our first game of the night was a 1-point result, 74-73. Well, we're going to have more points than that one. This one is 75-71 as we head to the fourth quarter from Churchland High School in Portsmouth. It's the PIT. Fourth quarter underway in our second game of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. Eric Reynolds, the second misfiring on a wing 3 for Norfolk Sports Club as it goes back over to Portsmouth partnership alongside Matt Jones and Daniel Sokolowski. I'm Matt Hatfield, and 4-point gap here with Norfolk Sports Club on top. This one could go right down to the wire. Fall away shot's going to be no good for Felton. Down with the loose ball. Dingenhart's got it up ahead now. Reynolds on the move.
What do we say, fellas? First one to 100?
It's a great chance for that. And, you know, I go back to something I brought up earlier, is that free throws could decide this late. There's a nice rejection going out of bounds. Matthew Cleveland sending it packing.
Showcasing the athleticism on both ends.
Now, you mentioned a little while ago, Daniel, that his vertical ability, and now here's a fall away to try to beat the horn. It won't go down for Bates, and the rebound comes out to Gasson. getting those second chance opportunities and not turning over, making the free throws, the little things certainly go a long way towards determining who moves on to the next round in this, or who will be stuck playing a consolation game on Thursday. Extra pass, Felton had it. Three-pointer won't go down, but there's the hustle, and Cleveland's got it. And it will roll out of bounds.
For Felton. But Osibor demanding the ball, sees a physical advantage against Huntley, who's taller but skinnier, just a little bit underweight in that physical matchup.
75-71. The team in white, if you're tuning in, Norfolk Sports Club with the lead. A tenuous one right now, but they have not been behind in this second half. Davon Smith's got it as he sizes up the defender in Osibor. Now he's going to try to get in, bobbles it, loses it. Osibor getting the stop defensively. Out and running now. Behind the back, Felton rolls it in. How about R.J. Felton going to work here? Some instant offense from distance and also close in range.
Will be kind of interesting to see what lineups these coaches play down the stretch.
Bates misses the wing three. It's going to trickle out of bounds.
Yeah, for example, R.J. Felton, bench player to start this game, but he's been an absolute microwave as somebody I probably want closing the game if we're playing to win.
Big Victor getting a breather right now, but you got to think he will get back in here sooner than later.
There he is.
Locking right on cue. Here's Felton tossing it over to Gasson. Turning, how about Gasson rising up and putting it through. We're deadlocked at 75, guys.
Gasson has patented that stop and pit spin back to his right hand.
Oh, there's the runner. It's good for Eric Reynolds. So Portsmouth Partnership has erased a double-digit deficit, but there's Umar Ballo with the dunk. And we're tied up again. Second tie of this fourth quarter. Davon Smith, who got things off with a dunk to begin this game, loses the rock. Felton's got it on the run. And nearly a lead, but Degenhart got in the way to prevent it from happening. We watch that dunk again from Ballo, who jams it home with authority.
Tie ball game.
Umar Ballo. Here's Felton just inside the arc, and it's money. And suddenly, for the first time tonight, I do believe Portsmouth Partnership has gone in front. 79-77, 6:27 to play. Coming back for more from the PIT. Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. A big salute to the hardworking crew behind the scenes making it possible for us, William Warfield, and our camera guys from Rob Burlingame and Joe Allen, and the hard-working entire team with WGNT and Prep Spin, my partners tonight, Daniel Sokolowski and Matt Jones. I'm Matt Hatfield. We're privileged to be bringing this Second contest of 12 here at the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School, home of the Truckers. And a little trivia for both of you guys. Do you know that this court, just a few years back, it was the then athletic director Michael Whittington got this court somehow, some way in the NBA 2K video game. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
That is the best kept secret.
So the kids got a chance. I remember he's now the athletic director. I give him a shout out now at Lakeland High School in Suffolk. But I know the kids at the school and those that played a video game, they could actually somehow, I don't know all the modes of the video game, could actually use this court, which is the court for the PIT for decades now. And they got it redone about 5, 6, maybe longer than that years ago. There's a step-back jumper. Bates had it partially blocked. Degenhart stays with it. We got ourselves a good finish here in store. Walking again, delivering, and how about Davon Smith dropping it off? The dime's being dropped too tonight as we're tied up again for the third time in this quarter. Ballo sets the screen. Here's Baldwin. Skips it to Mashak. He'll try a three, and he'll make one. Largest lead of the night for Portsmouth partnership, and it comes courtesy of the utility type of defensive junkyard dog. And now underneath, Degenhart responds to make it a 1-point game. Triple digits could be in store here, Matt, the way it's going back and forth.
Not much defense.
Baldwin using the screen from Ballo. Felton down low to Ballo, and he's left uncovered. Missed assignment there, and that's not the guy you want to leave open. 7'1", 265, especially when he's close to the basket. You don't mind it if he's about 30 feet away. Oh, that one goes behind Locken. A little bit of a rushed pass on that sequence as Bates could not connect with his teammate there. We watch that slam again.
Yeah, Ballo the benefactor of some easy ones. They're finding him down low. RJ Felton making some great reads, making some big-time plays down the stretch for his team.
Well, if Felton and company get another basket here, it'll be their largest of the night. It's 3 at the moment. Trailed by 11 earlier in the third quarter. Hit, count it, plus the foul for Ace Baldwin. People all across the DMV know him from his days in Baltimore, and A-10 Defensive Player of the Year. Put up 14 points, 7.1 assists per game, 2.4 steals per contest this year with the Nittany Lions of Penn State. And even though Penn State didn't go dancing, he helped them knock off Purdue early in the season in a big game. And Big Ten, much like the SEC, just a meat grinder. Misses the free throw, but Ballo keeps it alive for them as Mashak gets it back to Baldwin. He'll try a three, and that's one way to get 5 points out of a possession. And just a total breakdown for Norfolk Sports Club. You can't let that happen in a game like this close. But they're not out of it just yet. Locken and company trying to find some magic. 3-point shot from the wings, not going to go down for Carter as it trickles out of bounds.
Big shift in momentum over this last 2.5 minutes.
Remember, Norfolk Sports Club had a lead, I believe it was 5, 54-49 at the break. Here's Ballo diving in for 2.
Running the old Spanish pick and roll, getting the back screen for the roller, and Ballo goes in uncontested. That
was not problematic at all. Reynolds over to Carter. Little jab maneuver. Locken. 10-point lead suddenly. Oh. It's a 21-point turnaround in a matter of about 25 minutes of real time and about 12 to 15 minutes of game time. Four timeouts left for Norfolk Sports Club, trailing this one by 10. That's according to the big board here. I think it's 2 left for.
A little bit of huffing and puffing from both teams here. As we said earlier, these guys haven't played in a real basketball game in a month or more for some of them.
First foul shot was Good for Carter. Locken taking a seat. Norfolk Sports Club searching for some answers here in these final few minutes. And the free throw is good on the second attempt as well for Cam Carter. Revered for that quick first step and also attacks off the steals. Here's Baldwin getting in the paint, kicking it out. Shot way off the mark for Cleveland.
Meshack, his signature run down from behind, disrupting what should have been a fast break layup.
Bates was doubled up and Meshack got in there somehow, swarming like bees. It almost reminiscent to what Houston, who they fell to, Tennessee, in the Elite Eight, did to Duke in that Final Four. The way they just intensified things in the final seconds of that surreal comeback. Here's a three from the wing for Reynolds. It's off the mark. Leaping for the rebound is Felton. Might be getting to that must-score position now for Norfolk Sports Club the next trip.
Good extra.
That corner three won't go down for Felton. There it is, an 8-point game.
From a tactical standpoint, you wonder if Norfolk Sports Club could just go out and foul Ballo and see if they could extend this game a little bit.
It's a great point as they missed that three. Well, especially if it stays in that 4 to 6 range. That would have been a huge make there. But now with it staying as a 3-possession game, it's not as quick to yank him off the floor after multiple sequences of that. Here's Baldwin attacking, and Degenhart sends it out of bounds with the rejection. Also, we have another timeout coming, I think, as well, as Davon Smith is being subbed in. And we'll take the timeout, too. 2:14 to go. Come on back for the finish from the 71st Annual PIT, night number 1. Remaining. We're about to find out who's moving on to the semifinals on Friday at 7 o'clock against K&D Rounds Landscape Services. A winner earlier tonight, 74-73 over Sales Systems. Sales Systems will be back in action for our next game coming up on Thursday at 3:15 Eastern. You can catch it all on WGNT. Across the Hampton Roads area. All your different television services, 506 on Verizon, Fios, Cox Channel 44. And we've got 2 games that will follow that in the evening session with Roger Brown's Restaurant versus Portsmouth Sports Club, Mike Tuman Incorporated against Janet King. We'll see Solomon Johnson, 2-time national champ with UConn in action, part of the festivities coming up on Thursday, and all kinds of storylines await here at the PIT and the upcoming games, as we'll have 3 games for you on Thursday, 3 on Friday, and then 4 on Saturday with the consolation games starting at 11 o'clock Eastern, 1 p.m. for the 5th place, 5 p.m. for the 3rd place, and then the championship game at 7 o'clock Eastern on Saturday night. Before Easter comes our way on Sunday, as getting late in the evening, a lot of folks starting to file for the exits, trying to get home before the midnight strike. 4 on the shot clock, 2:14 on our game clock. Portsmouth Partnership up by 8 as it's inbounded to Ballo, who got fouled right away. There's that strategy you talked about, Daniel, that we'll see if he gets fouled, but I'm not sure that was how they designed him to get fouled. You get 2 free throws nonetheless.
Yeah, make him earn it at the free throw line rather than watch him dunk it again one way or another. But It was an interesting choice from Norfolk Sports Club to take the timeout right there. It gave Portsmouth Partnership a chance to draw something up for free.
Morvallo with 2 shots.
First one for Ballo. That's good. This will match the largest lead if he hits this one. Now it pretty much becomes 3-point chucking time for the guys in white from Norfolk Sports Club. Down 9, they get the rebound. Degenhart. Davon Smith over to Carter. Oh, and he got fouled on a 3-point shot. The Cardinals sin. It's committed here with 2:05 to play.
Exactly what the outcome the coach doesn't want in this situation. 1, it's a 3-point foul. 2, it stops the clock. It's a double whammy.
If you watch it again, I think that was Cleveland who committed that foul. Yeah, no, it looks like that's actually rather Zeke Mayo. As we watch it on the replay again. So Cam Carter getting 3 shots here. And a chance to make it a 3-for-1 trade-off. 1,313 points in his college career that saw him play at 3 schools in 4 years, Mississippi State and Kansas State, before finishing up in Baton Rouge with the LSU Tigers. Made 183s in his college career. And he knocks down all 3 free throws here. And this one is still within reach here at 6, 92-86. This one a higher scoring affair than our first one to kick off the
coffin corner.
PIT. Oh, and that's going to be a traveling violation. Meshach just didn't have everything squared away there properly.
No lead appears to be safe tonight.
No.
I knew there might be trouble when they inbound into the deep corner.
If you watch college basketball or NBA games on a nightly basis, you know how some of these wild and wacky comebacks can take place. The layup was missed by Davon Smith, a golden opportunity, but it will stay with Norfolk Sports Club. Just when you thought the Houston-Duke game or the Houston-Kansas game this year was over, or any of some of these games that have these bananas endings. I think, was it not this past season, but year before, Michigan State, Iowa was like an 11-point game, and Iowa stunned the Spartans with about a minute and change to go. Double team comes. Tamar Bates now trying to back down against Mayo. 4 on the shot clock. Kick it out to Smith for 3. It's not his strength, and the rebound collected by Mayo. Got a decent look, but maybe not the right guy to take that look there.
Thinking that layup they missed right at the rim, it will be one he'll be thinking about tonight when he goes to bed.
And it appears that R.J. Felton's going to come back in as Meshach heads to the bench. Felton gets it on the inbound, being covered by Bates. Down to our last 90 seconds of play on night 1 of the 71st annual PIT. Fans, scouts, execs alike heading for the exits to beat the traffic rush. And there's the spinorama. That's good for R.J. Felton. I'll tell you what, guys, if he's not the MVP, he's certainly been an X factor and an unsung hero in this comeback for Portsmouth Partnership.
He's done a little bit of everything tonight.
Some very timely baskets, that one. The crucial one.
Cam Carter gets the layup, 94-88. We do apologize. We're still not getting any statistical data at our fingertips. I'm sure it'll be up on the Portsmouth Invitational website, Portsmouth Invitational.
I had to guess Felton's right about 20 points right now.
Tournament.
And they've needed every point.
Yeah, PortsmouthInvitational.com is the website. I'm sure that will be available for folks later. 52.9 seconds to go.
Did we just see an ejection?
I'm not quite sure. And the officials are going to probably huddle up and determine what exactly is.
Well, might be some free points that sway the outcome of this game.
Partnerships number 4, Ace Baldwin.
Ace Baldwin called for a technical foul with 52.9 seconds to go. He must have said one of those words you can't say. And that could leave the door slightly ajar for Norfolk Sports Club. Although these free throws here can help push it back to a 3-possession lead, as Eric Johnson, coach at Grassfield High School in Chesapeake, has a little chat with Baldwin. Pretty civil. Neither one that upset.
Matthew Cleveland at the line.
Cleveland at the line. Hits the first. One more coming his way.
This is the big one. Where you can convert this free throw, get to a 3-possession game. The clock starts to work against you.
He said this is the big one. All I can think of is Fred Sanford from Sanford & Son. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. Big one. That's all I can think of. This is the big one.
That's not a reference I had on my bingo board
no,
tonight,
but
I
put
like
it. It's a late basketball game that's had a lot of timeouts, fouls, and twists and turns.
You got to sneak them in when you can.
Yeah, we put it out there. Some people don't know what in the world we're talking about. And there's a steal for Meshack.
That turnover may have been the nail in the coffin.
No Elizabeth in the building to my knowledge. There may be one here, but there's a foul with 39.2 seconds to go. 96-89 Portsmouth partnership. Clinging to the lead and a chance to get closer to that triple-digit number of 100. Foul on Carter.
Ace Baldwin at the line.
So Ace Baldwin with a chance to redeem himself of sorts after the technical. It's the first free throw. One more here can make it a 9-point lead. And he does just that. On the move now. Carter got bumped by Baldwin, but they'll let him play through it, get the layup. 98-91. We'll see if they lay off fouling here. Baldwin's got it, and I think they will lay off the foul tactic here with about a 7 to 8 second differential with game and shot clock showing. Portsmouth partnership will have to put one more up to see if they can get to 100 here, unless they decide to just take the shot clock violation. We'll see who tries to do it. Meshack will try to be the guy. And he does. He hits the 101 mark. Jemai Meshack.
Not his forte either. Of all guys on that team, he steps up and drills it.
He practiced that one in a horse. That's what he did. Kick out to Degenhart. Last shot of the night's going to be switched home, and that will bring us a final of 101-94 in favor of Portsmouth partnership, erasing the 5-point halftime deficit, the 11-point deficit in the third quarter, and they walk away victorious to earn a date on Friday in the semifinals against K&D Rounds Landscape Services. Guys, this was fun. From our partners Matt Jones and Daniel Sokolovsky, I'm Matt Affey. We thank you for watching our coverage of the 71st Annual Portsmouth Invitational Basketball Tournament from Churchland High School. We'll be back coming up on Thursday. We say good night from Portsmouth, Virginia.